I'm driving down the fucking 95 today, just seeing nothing but bubbles, cough drops everywhere I look. Whether it's a Jaguar or a Honda, they're all exactly the fucking same.
Shitty looking femme cars.
And they think, oh, that's good because it's more aerodynamic. It uses less fuel.
Yes.
Meanwhile, it's like $7 a year in gas.
Yeah.
And they go, I'm saving the world. It's great.
Yeah. I'll save the world. Meanwhile, a guy driving it has to like, oh God, I'm in this fucking pussy mobile.
Dude, I have a BMW. I have a 2014 BMW. I'm deeply ashamed.
Are you ashamed of it?
It's hideous. It's a fucking Honda Civic. They're all the fucking same. I actually test drove a 1982 320.
82.
Yes, 320 IS or I today. Manual. It was a fucking nightmare. It doesn't even really have fuel injection. The AC doesn't work. It's really hard to get the AC going.
Yeah.
It's 82. They were just sort of figuring that out.
What make is it? Or
BMW.
BMW.
Yeah. 320i. But it's such a beautiful fucking car. And the guy is a mechanic, so he fixes it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not handy with this. And he's like, well, why do you want this if you're not handy with
Yeah, I think an 82.
I'm like, I'm a woman. It's weird because I'm disparaging women. Maybe fag would be a better term. I'm a fag. I just want some beauty in my life. Look at it.
That is a cool looking.
Isn't that beautiful?
And the 80s was known for some shitty looking fucking cars.
Oh my God.
You know, even though it looks cool, it's still square. 80s loved their square cars. It had to look like a fucking Dodge Aries K car.
Yes, please. So I'm going to give up on that era. I'm going to go up a few years to it's called a 2002, but it's obviously not from 2002.
Oh, they just named it that?
Because we'll never make it there.
Yeah.
Remember, like,
oh, that's so far in the
vacuum
future.
2000.
It won't even have cars.
Yeah, it was the Jetsons vacuum.
Yeah. There won't be cars, silly.
So then let's add 2 years just to be super crazy. So the 2002 was like, I don't know when it was. I think it was like 86.
Yeah.
It's the same looking car, but at least shit works. I need a faggy BMW Jag or Merc from 30 years ago.
Why faggy?
Because they're stupid cars to buy.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just buying it for the look.
It's just for the look. But what a unique, like, if you buy a car for the look, a lot of dudes want a really sporty kind of, you know.
51 with 3 kids. Like, I don't want a convertible.
I'm not talking that, but.
I don't want a Porsche. I want like a.
What about a Datsun 280Z?
Pull that up. That sounds good.
Where's a Datsun? A 1980 Datsun 280Z.
Or the Alfa Romeo 1976 James Bondy little box.
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to the guy about it this morning that I test drove the car, and he's like, I bought one of those for $800. I just sold it for $35,000.
Holy shit. If you only knew. Yeah, that's the black one.
Yeah, no, it's too sporty. I want like a dad car.
But this is an 80s car, and it was fucking... I wanted this car so bad. They had a 240, a 260, and a 280Z. There were 3 models. The 280 was the top of the line one. And I was even willing to go fucking ghetto and want the 260. I couldn't even afford that.
How much was that? Was this back Tin Knocker days?
Back before Tin Knocker days. This was like I was in high school and I wanted this car. This car would have been the shit. Look at it.
Yeah, no, that's too sexy for a married man.
I would still get that fucking car. I love that car. It's before Datsun changed their name to Nissan.
I talked to a mechanic about an 80s Jag, and he goes, if you buy this car, I will physically fight you.
Wow. That is a...
Find you. I'll beat the shit out of you.
I will beat the shit out of you.
No one says anything good about old Jags.
No. Old Jags, they break down like mother. There's
Only the electrical is a nightmare.
There's a few years in there. Like early Jags are okay, and then you reach this midpoint, and they were just known to break down constantly. And then I started buying a Jag like maybe 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago. And they were taken over by another company, and they were fucking great. I never had a problem with mine.
So what year is yours?
Mine, well, I got rid of the last one, but I had them. I bought them new, like so they were 2000. What is it now? 2015, I guess, shit around there. Yeah, and that thing was like insane.
Jaguars today, though, they look the same as a Lexus. They even lost their cool little fucking leaping Jaguar on the front.
Leaping Jaguar on the hood. I'm glad I didn't like that one.
What? Oh my God, we finally disagree. Finally.
Thing.
Fat ethnic chicks and leaping Jaguars are the only two times we've disagreed.
My quest for an old car is getting worse and worse on a daily basis. I'm getting farther away from my goal, which is just, I have one goal. An aesthetically appealing car that runs and I don't have to worry about it. That's it. That's all I'm asking Earth. And it has been a 3-month quest. I told you on Kumia's show, I went and saw a 320 IS or something from 82. It was a fucking nightmare. It was for mechanics. And even mechanics go, this car is challenging. The guy didn't want to sell it to me because he caught me going down a hill with the clutch down. And it was like if I was going to adopt a dog and I swatted it in the head.
It's like, I don't know.
It's like, man, I think my dog's fine,
car?
actually. We're done. It's not up for adoption anymore.
Yeah.
You have the clutch down going downhill.
You touched the door.
You assaulted my clutch. But I didn't even know you're not supposed to do that.
So your
Well,
whole life.
when a car's and even a motorcycle, if your car's in neutral or your motorcycle's in neutral, if it's stick shift or manual, you don't have control of the vehicle.
Well, I can go right, left, and I can brake.
You have no control over the vehicle.
I can brake.
Oh, you could, but that's not control of the vehicle.
I don't know, going down a hill with second going, seems like I'd rather just sort of
I
like,
wouldn't
when I'm
picture
going down a
complain.
hill with the clutch down, everything's off the books. It's like paying cash. The IRS doesn't have to know.
No, just
And then when we get down,
Whatever works.
back into third, whatever.
yeah.
But that blew my, like when I don't think I even could have said yes. Did you notice that at the end?
Yeah.
He was like selling me off it. He's like,
He
yeah.
wanted you off the road.
Dinesh D'Souza.
Dear Gavin, I heard yourself and Kumia on his show talking about Jags. You were correct about early Jags being unreliable, but there were a few golden years when Ford took over the company and fixed the notorious electrical issues. Thanks to that and Jaguar's bomb-proof 4.0 inline-six engine, cars built between 1992 and 96 are some of the most reliable Jags ever made. Pull up a 1993 Jaguar.
And they look like a Ford Taurus.
If they look like shit, we're back to square one. The great thing about these years is they have the reliability and those amazing classic looks. They are superb to drive and with the luxurious wood and leather interior, blah, blah. Check out the Jaguar XJ40. Those are beautiful. Those are not Ford Tauruses, Matty.
Oh, those are them.
Oh, come on. Look at the black one there in the middle. That's a hunk. That's a hunk of burning love. Oh, come on. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Check out the XJ40, XJS facelift, X300, and the XJR6, which is the supercharged version of the X300. Find a rust-free, well-looked-after example, and you'll be fine. Stay away from the cars with the V12 engines. They are amazing when they run. I got to put a special flag on this. They're amazing when they run, but they do have gremlins and can be a fucking nightmare to repair. Sorry if my grammar is wank. I'm a gas engineer, not a writer, bitch. Yeah, those are fucking beautiful. That's exactly what I want.
XJ6.
Although I wouldn't mind the leaping Jag on the front.
Yeah, that's just a hood ornament. But
I guess I could just glue it on. Oh, that one's got one. No, not that
Yeah.
one. It also has to be black. Hey, baby monsters out there, can you help me find just anything, man? Anything. I don't actually care if it's a fucking Nissan. It just has to be weird and old, but not so old that it has no AC and no power steering and all that shit. And again, the reason I bring this up on my show is not to make you go find me a car, but just to say, why can't we have beauty in our lives anymore? If this was 1980, I would want a car by a major roadway just to look at the masterpieces that we're going by. Now, when we're at our bar and I look out the window, I see the exact same motherfucking car thousands of times a minute. Look at that. That's a fucking beaut. Wait, go back to the one you just showed. Show other pictures of that.
Now, one of the best Mercedes back in the day, probably late 80s, early 90s, was the 560 SEC. Very popular. Very high end at the time.
560 SEC?
Yeah.
That's still pretty. I think they started becoming ugly around 95. Like you look at Land Rovers, and that's around when they started to turn into bubbles. And I always turn into a when I'm buying these things. And they go, yeah, the fuel gauge is broken, but I just checked the mileage, and I know it can
Yeah,
handle
write
like
the odometer
150
down
miles. And then I go, oh, that's like my Bonneville, my Triumph. I just set the odometer. And they go, oh, yeah, is it fuel injected or a carburetor? And instead of going, I don't really know, I just bought it because I like the look of it, I just go, fuel injected. And he goes, really? What year is it? And now I think it's 2003, but because of my lie with the fuel injection, the carburetor, I don't want to prove I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So I just go,
Like,
I don't really know.
It
Now I
doesn't
look
say that. You're a liar.
Now I look even stupider than the guy who could have said he didn't know about the fuel injection or the carburetor. So I go, it's made to look like the old ones, but it's not. It's a new one. Ugh, I'm getting disgusted just talking about myself. What a loser.
Bought a bike.
And that's probably around the time when the guy's like, I don't want my car in this person's possession.
This is the evolution of the Land Rover.
Okay. This is what Ryan and I kept screaming. Obviously, that's ridiculous, right?
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, of course it is. But what we were talking about in the car is take that, all right? Take that. They wanted to reboot the Range Rover Defender. I don't think that's a Defender, but take one of those two, right? Verbatim, not even that one, the two you just showed, and fucking motherfucking trick out the interior like a Tesla with a huge screen and crazy buttons and cooling and heated seats and all that stuff, but make the exterior look like that. How is that so crazy? Why am I a nut?
Look at this. 24 cars with the coolest retro design.
Okay, suck my penis.
All right, there's more. The Bronco. That one looks promising.
This
The
is
original one looks like shit.
Borderline acceptable.
Ooh.
That's a children's toy that he plays with in the bath. That's whatever.
pretty
I'm 51 years old, so I'm sure a lot of rich 21s like that.
Mercedes-Benz G-Class.
Yeah, that proves what I was just saying. You see the success of the G-Class, and you go, all right, I own Range Rover. Why don't I take that when we looked like that and trick out the interior and the engine, obviously, and all that shit? Like, it's so it's like SNL. Stop reading cue cards. You're the kings of fucking improv. Just riff. Have the basic, just like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where they get the basic talking points. You can still have writers, by the way. That BMW is gorgeous. And just riff.
Someone sent this in. This is a third generation from the 94 to 2001. They made this.
That's
7 series.
perfect. That's
third
exactly
generation,
what I'm looking for.
Third generation 7 series.
Wait, no, that one you just had in the top?
Top left.
No, the one next to it. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
It's classy. It's nice. So here's
And now those, if they're above 1990, you don't have to wrap them up and hide them in the garage all winter. But these 80s cars, they're steel on the bottom. That's gay. That's a Doctor Who enemy, bad guy. That's fucking lame. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. That's a weird divorced Puerto Rican. No, I don't want that. You can just prop open the door with that wood stick there. Maddie, fuck off. Sure, whatever. Suck my dick. Fake muscle cars. Stupid European reboots. Although, wait, go back.
That's all right.
No, whatever. I'm pretty impressed though that they got that adventurous. Go back with that thing. You gotta admit that's pretty ballsy.
That's a Nissan? Wow. Looks like a Fiat or
if
something.
that's a new car.
It hails from the late 1980s.
Okay, well then you're
Executed-
cheating. I thought it was modern cars that are like reboots.
Yeah.
80s doesn't
Suzuki
count.
Jimny.
That's
Jesus,
fine.
that came out in like 87.
Yeah, that's cheating. The only thing I would want to see here is if it was cool cars from 2021. All right, boring. We're boring
Evolution of the Land Rover. And
people. Gorgeous, breathtaking,
What the
shitty.
fuck is that? That is terrible.
What
Yeah.
year is that?
Fucking
That's when they went to shit.
2017. That's also
Boring.
popular.
Not horrible.
That sucks.
That's when
That's
it's
a
starting
mom.
to get lame. 2008. That's just embarrassing. Like, if you gave that Land Rover to me for free, that blue one, I would put it on cars.com the next day to sell.
It's quiet.
I
Now
don't
they make
want
a
that.
Convertible.
I hate convertibles.
A convertible truck. Really?
Fuck off. What do you put in the back there? A Christmas tree?
That's going for like a Ford Explorer type deal.
Lick my balls. Go fuck yourself.
Hey.
That's pretty. What's that?
Last Land Rover Defender rolled off production in 2016.
What?
Retaining the same classic shape and basic design, modernized with some creature comforts.
Wait a
added
minute,
to
wait
its
a minute,
history.
wait a minute. This is exactly what I said they should do, and it looks like they did it? I don't remember seeing that.
The last one rolled off in 2016. Okay.
That's pretty
I
reasonable.
remember us looking at pictures of this, and you were like, "Oh, cool!" And then you went to go see it in
then
person.
I test drove the 2021
Right.
for $100,000 and went suck my dick.
Let's see.
But
for
that's
sale.
a really cool looking car.
Let's see if they got any for sale here.
But I already have a Land Rover. I want to get that like old Merc. Anyway, we're getting lost in my Amazon wish list. Let's take some calls. Look at that! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Looks like RoboCop's helmet. You don't
That's
like
a
that?
baby in the bathtub going. Brrr, brrr.